Is it true that President Zelensky is coming on Friday to meet with you, and is the mineral deal sorted out?
I hear that. I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly, it's okay with me if he'd like to, and he would like to sign it together with me, and I understand that's a big deal.
So Trump pulled it off. President Trump just announced a huge deal with President Zelensky of Ukraine in a big minerals deal. In this deal, the U.S. will get 50% of the revenue from all of Ukraine's rare earth metals. Here's what President Trump at the White House had to say about this.
With Ukraine and this mineral deal, what does Ukraine get in return, Mr. President?
$350 billion and lots of equipment, and military equipment, and the right to fight on, and originally the right to fight. Look, Ukraine, I will say, they're very brave and they're good soldiers, but without the United States and its money and its military equipment, this war would have been over in a very short period of time.
Now, this $350 billion that Trump mentioned in this video isn't any new amounts that's being sent over to Ukraine. This actually just includes the hundreds of billions we sent already to help with this aid and war. Trump was simply looking for some way to negotiate or claw back some of this large amounts of money we had sent over already. And well, one of the most valuable things that Ukraine has to offer back to the US is access to their rare earth metals. According to the European Commission, in 2019, Ukraine supplied 7% of the global titanium for the world. They also have other metals like lithium, coal, iron, which can all be used for a variety of things to build nuclear power plants, planes, and electric vehicle batteries. But despite this deal being struck and numerous talks going on between Trump and Putin, does this mean that a deal has been struck for peace in Ukraine and Russia?
And maybe until we have a deal with Russia. Look, we need to have a deal with Russia. Otherwise, it's going to continue. But now when Americans put up their money, the taxpayer money, and the president approves it, we're getting our money back in some form. But it could go on for a while, or it could be settled quickly. I think it's going to be settled quickly. I spoke with President Putin. I think he wants to settle it and wants to get on with life.
Okay, so no official peace agreement has been reached so far, despite some reports claiming that it has been. However, as Trump has stated, he has been in countless talks with both Putin and Zelensky over negotiation deals, so we're hoping for something soon. Zelensky is even traveling to the White House this Friday, and perhaps a peace deal gets done when they can talk in person about all of this. But how did Putin feel about this whole minerals deal we struck up with his enemy, Ukraine? Well, it turns out he's actually kind of jealous. In an interview with Putin, Putin apparently said that he would be interested in having a similar deal with the US struck up, where trade access to rare earth minerals they have in Russia in exchange for money that we send over. I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean, if we could somehow ease the tension between Russia and the United States that we've had for so long, ever since the Cold War, I mean, that would just be historic. Imagine these two superpower countries with nuclear weapons finally looking to mend bonds and make up. But speaking of foreign nations, Trump has another formal announcement he just made. Trump recently announced the US will be launching their very own gold card access to foreigners. Now this gold card, you can kind of think of it like a green card except upgraded with perks. However, it comes with a hefty price tag. Trump will be selling gold cards to foreigners at the steep price of $5 million. And of course, people applying to this will have to go through some sort of screening and security checks to get one. But I mean, imagine spending $5 million just to become a US citizen. Now, Trump says this will be huge for American investment because it's going to lure in wealthy people from all countries around the world. I mean, think about countries like China, the UAE, and the EU. Well, I guess we can all become American friends now these days if you got $5 million to fork over. Speaking of spending, Trump's new tax bill just voted in by the House with a narrow vote of 217 to 215. Well, this bill just got passed. Now, this bill will still have to go through Senate and be signed by President Trump to become official. But there's a couple things I want to make clear about this because I'm seeing a lot of misinformation about whether this tax bill covers taxes on tips or overtime. So to make it clear in the bill, it does not say there's any specific policy that eliminates taxes on tips altogether. There is, however, some direction in this bill for how legislators can look to eliminate this in coming years outlined in this bill. But the big thing about this new bill, however, is the continuation of the 2017 tax cuts that Trump put into place during his first term in office, that were set to expire in 2025 unless somebody renewed it. As a reminder of what the tax cut did, well, it lowered tax rates across all income brackets, ranging from 1% to 2% reductions, with these middle incomes receiving the biggest tax breaks of all. Now, there's a big fuss about why Democrats are so opposed to this, and it's apparently that these tax cuts are estimated to lose around $4 trillion in tax revenue over the next decade, because, well, the government simply wouldn't be collecting as much tax money from all of us, which would mean that either the US government has to enter an even bigger financial deficit that it is in already, or they'll simply have to slash a lot of spending that it's doing currently. Anyways, that's all the news I got for this video. Consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.